Hi, everyone. It's Kelly from the Hub here today with somebody new. And you will never guess who this person is. I've known this woman for, I don't know, 240 years. How long has it been? Feels like it, doesn't it? This woman is named Suzanne Oswald. You can call her Sue or you can call her Oz. I will accidentally probably call her Oz a lot. We taught together when we both taught at Brandywine Heights in Berks County. And she is, well, I'm just going to say it. She's going to deny it and be super humble, but she is one of the best artists in the entire universe. She has a myriad of talents, photography, and I don't know, all of it. She does all the things. Her thing right now that she is super into is glass, and I have two of her pieces, and I will show you. So this is an Oswald original. I have had this piece since 07 when she made it. Isn't it cool? It's cool. It's just wonderful. I didn't even say sort of hello. Hello.
Hello. That's all right. You were on a roll. You're doing
I'm so excited to show everybody. So how did you even start art in your life? Like, you've been an artist. I think you were born into it, weren't you?
Pretty much. I think, sorry, my dog knows when to, ham it up and get into the scene.
We love coworkers.
This is Izzy.
So
yeah, she's moral support. I don't know how much she doesn't do much else to help. She lays on the computer keyboard and gets in the way. But yeah, when I was a kid, the first thing I remember art-wise is to entertain me. My dad was in the military, so whenever I got sick, we had to go to a military base and there were rows of folding chairs. Why I remember this, I don't know, and we'd sit there waiting to be called in to see one of the military doctors, and my mom would draw to keep me entertained. She'd do like little Bugs Bunny drawings. And so after that, I started doodling, and my grandfather always loved art. And I don't know, it just progressed from there. I just kept drawing and drawing and drawing. And yeah, once I hit high school, I knew that was sort of it. Took classes with a local Dr. John Grossman. And that helped. And then he pointed me toward KU and teachers program. And yeah, there I went.
And how many years did you teach?
34.77.
34.77. That's right. I've known Oz forever, and we had two buildings as in the Brandywine School District, and in our first building, I was directly upstairs from the art department, and that was a riot because art is loud, and it should be.
I knew you were going to say the noise. I knew you were going there.
No, it was, but I loved it. I was never the one who was like, "What's going on downstairs?"
True.
I thought it was fantastic. That shows you that learning is alive. And there were many times as well where my classroom was just as rowdy because learning was alive in my room too. And it was great to be able to be in that place and have it be so cool. There were a couple of times that my glasses broke, and I would send a kid down to Oz's teacher in crime, and he would weld my glasses. I mean, we were all, when you're teachers in a high school, especially, I think you become this sort of funky family about how you do stuff. And growing through teaching, and I always say growing up with my teacher family was super wonderful. We were able to do a ton of stuff for kids. In the art department, they had this mini golf course that the kids designed, 18 plus holes that the kids built and decorated, and then they had put in the cafeteria, and then there was a big huge fundraiser for all of these mini golf holes, and people would come play and play and play and play, and it was It was amazing. And but that was really super cumbersome. And we also did a fashion show, and lots of other teachers got involved. And I remember when it started, Oz.
Oh
It was
God.
originally, we were like sort of showcasing other stores,
Wars? Yeah.
and it was also sort of like a get ready for prom kind of a thing too, which I did prom for years and years. And so, like, the kids were models and we did cool things. And then it emerged over time to become a total student made clothing fashion show.
You know, the catalyst for that was Project Runway. I was drawn into Project Runway, and that was before they used to do the non-traditional materials.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, of course, we couldn't afford the fabric and all that to make our own real clothing. So we found papers that were very fabric-like, very fluid, and that's sort of how we kicked off. And we got them for free. A local company just gave us all their drop-offs. So we took those and a hot glue gun and a stapler, and yeah, you could make really cool. I mean, you don't understand until you see the pictures of the stuff,
Right.
how
The
cool they were.
and if you didn't attend a fashion show, you were out of all of the loops, because there was so much. I don't know kids who weren't touched by that, because these two, and then turned into three faculty members, like, built sets and then we had it in non-traditional places, and then they built sets in other places and did music and had, I mean, the whole school was involved in creating art that was accessible for everybody.
We tried
And
to do that. You wanted everybody involved. It wasn't just for the designers, the fashion designers. We needed set builders, painters, advertisers. Yeah. And the more that joined on, the merrier. We wanted it to be all inclusive.
yeah, it was, I mean, I've we could do 25 interviews just on fashion show stuff alone.
Yeah.
All the, I mean, amazing things. And this is to let all of these viewers know that art is not just Mona Lisa at the Louvre. Wonderful. Both saw it, love it. But that art is, I guess I always like to say, it's small a art. It's for everybody.
Mm-hmm. My partner, Mike D'Addario, Mikey or D, always used to say that the arts make us human. And geez, I mean, everything, the need for expression, the need for, it's a way of speaking for me. I mean, my words aren't the best, but hopefully my art does my talking.
And for those of us who aren't talented in the creation part, we are the supporters, and we do all the other parts to help make those artists be able to do what they do. So I showed you one of the pieces of Oz's, and this is my art piece of hers. So it's a 12-inch glass vase that is one peacock feather etched all the way around. And we were just talking before this, that before I tried to use this for flowers. I got a bouquet and whatever, and I tried to use this for flowers. And I hated it because it's not for that.
I had someone ask me once if I minded if they put something in my vase. And I'm like, God, no, they're functional pieces, do with them whatever makes you happy with them.
Yeah, I can't. This is on display in my house as a piece of art, and it always will be, because that's just how it fits into my world. And when I see other glass etched things, I there's one person I think of in the entire universe, and that's Oz. And you don't know this, but I was at the Corning Museum in New York, which, if you've never been to that place, viewers,
You need to go.
it's a day trip. I mean, it's a long day trip, but it's a day
Mhm.
trip. And there is glass there that, oh, it just
They have
makes you
Lalique
swoon.
there. They have a lot of, Lalique is like my hero. And I made the pilgrimage to France to his museum there.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, I cried. Ugh, it was embarrassing.
There
But
are
I'm sure others do.
pieces that go on cars that have been made that are out of glass, that are museum pieces
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
are stunning.
What he did in his time frame was above and beyond. And I still go back through all the books I bought and then look at his work and get inspired. Now we're on totally different planes, mind you, like totally different.
Is he considered like Art Nouveau? Is he considered
Yeah.
that sort of time frame? Okay, in my head he was. I will put up some other pictures so that the rest of you guys can sort of see what we're talking about this guy. It's stuff that you don't know how he makes some of those
Wait,
things.
he had a daughter named Suzanne.
Enough said.
Yeah, is that not?
Enough said.
What a coincidence.
So how did you find? Well, I guess I should back up. I was going to ask this other question. Why glass? You do a lot of things, and I think photography is also one of your other specialties.
Yeah. Well, I sort of went my whole life not having, how people have their one thing.
Yeah.
Well, my whole life I searched for my one thing, but teaching, I didn't have the luxury of just focusing on the one thing because I had to do everything and I had to do it reasonably. I mean, for the sake of the kids, you want to be able to do everything well. So I did, I studied everything. But Bob Blanchard, who used to teach over at William Allen,
Yep.
a potter of all things, also did many things. Awesome woodworker, awesome jeweler, awesome. Yeah. One day he showed me a piece of glass that he did. And it was engraved and it was sandblast engraved, etched. And then I saw the process and something about it just stuck. So from there, when we moved into the new building, Mike made a point of getting a sandblaster in there and the compressor, and we had the equipment then. And boy, after the first time I did it, I was smitten, and that was it.
I remember having kids who would have art before they came to my class, and they would sometimes be working on their pieces, and they would be in various stages of this. And we'll talk about how all this is as we sort of go through interviews, but they would be in various stages, and they would be like, picking off some of the tape pieces for relief. And we'll talk about how all this works. And I would be like, oh, look what class will stop. Let's have a conversation about really. So like, how does this work? How does us really do this? Because it's so cool. And I think that, if we all look back on our art careers, we've all drawn our hand. We've all, if not tried to throw a pot, we've all painted flowers, we've all done some of those real sort of basic things. And I don't know how many people out there can go, when I was in high school, we were doing glass with pieces.
That's the other thing we tried to do. We tried to give kids experiences above and beyond the normal. Yeah, this is paper, this is a pencil, go.
Yeah, I always thought that any kid that went through the art program, and then triply those who were those kids who considered themselves artists and were, those kids were almost professionals when they went out, that they had such a leg up on a lot of other kids going into this professionally, or even not even majoring in it, but having skills
Yeah,
in that. They were so much further ahead than their colleagues from other places. That's
that's
what
what
I,
the feedback we got.
yeah.
Yeah, always used to make us giggle. And then we always crossed our fingers mentally that someday, you know, a kid would go, oh my God, I did this with D and Oz. Oh, look at this, or I can do this, or in whatever job they have, something clicks with them and a memory will get them through a problem or something.
And how many of all of our students, if they didn't become professional artists, which there are a lot of those,
Mm-hmm.
I think if you looked at the percentage, it would be probably more than other places. But no, I don't know if anyone's ever done that research, but I would bet on that. But even if they didn't become professional artists, use art in what they do. Like maybe their company didn't have to hire a graphic artist, because when person number 3, Shara, came in, she was the graphic artist element. And so
Yeah,
those kids learned graphic arts on a whole other level. I mean, they learned graphic arts on the same level that Dee and Oz were teaching them, you know, glass and pottery and photography and all those other kinds of things. And right, so even, you know, even if you go into banking, you can be contributing in art in a different way because you've had that experience. And that's what more could you ask for in a
yeah.
well-rounded human being?
One hopes, you know, creative problem solvers,
Yeah,
creative.
yeah. So glass is your thing. What, and now you're no longer teaching. So what does that mean for you in glass?
Well, I found venues. I mean, you can't just keep making, or my basement will be coated. I've found venues. I'm a member of the Hidden Treasures Studio Tour, which is over toward Bethlehem and Allentown, and a group of, I don't even know what the number is, but there's 6, 7 different studios that you can travel to in November and visit, and then they all sell their artwork, and they're all phenomenal, and it's all different. It's all 3-dimensional, all craft.
Wow.
And I go down to the Malvern Retreat show and I sell my work there. And I used to be at Goggle Works, and then that sort of closed and reformatted. But yeah, and a couple years ago, I actually opened up my studio and invited people into, and I invited a couple artists that I knew to show their stuff here as well. And we had like a little studio art sale here. So yeah, that's how, keep designing, keep pushing myself. I keep coming up with new ideas. You need an outlet. I mean, I look at something and it pops and oh, I could do this in glass. And if I shut that down, I think I'd explode. So
And I think all of us, no matter what our avocation or our vocation is that same sentence comes out of us. If I didn't do that, I would explode.
mhm.
Because it bubbles up inside of you,
Yeah,
and it's gonna come out one way or another. So you might as well let it come out the way it should.
it had to go somewhere. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
when we were teaching, it was always, I've got this idea, Dee. What do you think about it? Like I was always the insane idea person, and he was always the logical, well, I think we can make it work if we do
Right.
this.
And you have essentially a lab of kids to say, all right, well, we have this cool idea, let's try it. And that's so cool because a lot of us tried that same method because it's it's a really cool thing to be able to have interesting ideas and then see how kids respond to that
Oh
and
my God, yeah.
what you can do with that
And
after
what they
that.
brought to the table,
Yeah.
you know, made our eyes pop open. They came up with ideas that took it in directions you never even considered.
Yeah. So we're going to be spending some time with Oz over the next several weeks, learning about glass. She's also a phenomenal illustrator, which we haven't even
Ugh,
discussed.
no.
And
I,
she has a whole book. I may even say it's a series.
mhm.
Yeah, she has a whole book series which she collaborates with a former English teacher that who used to teach with us. And so, we've got a lot to discover, and she's going to show us some things and talk to us about like how you can sell and all the stuff. So it should be fun. Oz, thank you very much. I know that everybody is dying to see all of your great
Oh,
stuff. Thank
thanks,
you.
Kelly. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
See you, everybody.